Hi, welcome to the latest vodcast from Marketing Advice for Schools, and thanks for all your support in the past over the past few months. Today we're going to talk about academic change and the impact that can have on schools, and really the marketing aspects of it, the ways you can help schools as they go through academic change, and the way that you can use academic changes to make your school stand out and reinforce the key messages that you're putting out there. Change is something that happens everywhere, and I doubt anyone would expect schools to be immune from that. That's a quote from someone who wrote, I guess, 2,500 years ago. But change in education is happening very, very quickly. I'm obviously speaking from England, but I know that around the world there are huge changes, initiatives, curriculum changes, pressure from all sorts of people to try and improve education systems. So schools have this pressure to deal with, and how really marketing can help is what we're going to talk about over the next few minutes. Some of the changes that are happening in England in schools that I know about are listed here. There's a big push to improve maths scores, to improve maths testing. One of the biggest issues that's happening is new tests for 10, 11-year-olds, what we call Key Stage 2, where they'll have to know their times tables, and that's been publicised widely. Parents are asking questions about that in primary schools. It's also a huge change to 16 plus and 18 plus examinations, with pretty much every qualification being replaced, and in a big change to what we call our GCSEs. The marking is being changed, and will shortly be some GCSEs will be graded 9 to 1, not 1 to 9, and some will remain with A's, A stars, and so on. A levels are changing as well, and the way people apply and use them to apply for university entry is also changing as well. And even right down at the start of school, plans are afoot to essentially assess or test people in the first year of school, to provide a benchmark to see how they develop later on. So all these things are happening outside, and parents are aware of them, and parents are and students are going to be concerned, and obviously schools are concerned as well. So, why is it a marketing issue? Well, first of all, you are dealing and talking to parents and students and looking at what their needs are, and I think that's something that marketing. It's important that you are constantly checking out what they know, what they'd like to know, what change that they would like to make. Secondly, I think schools have to develop their reputation, and being proactive and innovative is a really important thing to do in these cases, rather than sort of be hit by change after change after change. Parents will choose and students will choose schools that are seen to be ahead of the curve, that are seen to be coming up with interesting responses or giving good choices. And finally, when you have made decisions, there are lots of choices to make, and really important to manage that communication so parents and students make the right choice, and they're given time to make the right choice, they're given the information to make the right choice, and you're the person that can handle that communication. So here's the 7 tips. The first tip with all this is to keep ahead of the curve. Be aware of what's happening. A few tips there for any school marketer, and again particularly those of you who may have come from outside of the school sector. Talk not just to the head teacher or the teachers who like do interesting things, but make sure that you're constantly talking to your academic deputy heads or director of studies, something like that, so you know what's going on. Really keep up to date with the trade press. Schools Week is new, but complements the Times Education Supplement. Social media, if you follow experts like Schools Improve, this is a great sort of daily summary really of what's happening in schools, as well as providing sort of interesting update as to what's happening on school social media. If you're new to teaching, again, keep a glossary of academic terms so you understand when someone's talking about FFT changes or EAL success rates. What's going on there. And when you're doing market research with parents, ask them about academic issues. What are they worried about in the next few years? Are they aware of issues? Keep testing them. Secondly, if you've found changes coming, really important that you timetable your response. Not just the final bit when these changes are happening, so you're going to implement them, but maybe look at 5 different stages. When are people going to be consulted on the changes, either nationally or locally? When is a change going to be published? When a new specifications coming out for exams, and so on? When do you as a school have to make a decision? Many schools will have a choice of 3 or 4 exam boards. When is that decision going to be made? When do you have to start communicating? Remember that that's often dictated by things like parents' evenings. Make sure that everybody is aware in advance of a parents' evening, because that's an opportunity that parents will take to ask questions. And finally, when is something actually happening? When is the implementation date? Thirdly, take into account stakeholders. If you're moving, for example, from 4 to 3 AS levels as a school or college, just make sure that you've tested that with parents and students who want to come in future years. You as a marketing expert are well placed to facilitate focus groups and to run surveys in an impartial way. Perhaps an academic leader may push people towards their decision. When you've gathered information, gathered feedback, remember to keep focusing on your key messages, what makes you different from other schools. If you are an academic school, I think it goes without saying that you need to put the resources into making sure that your academic success continues. If perhaps you are a school that focuses on your pastoral care and support for every child, you may need more time. You need to set aside more time or make different decisions in order to support people through career choices in the future. Next change, we talked about jargon before. Just be careful that you don't publish statements on your website that are full of acronyms. There's a lot here that teachers will be well aware of, but parents may well not know the difference between their FFT and their FSM, for example. And again, governors and other stakeholders, particularly if they're new to their post, will need explanations of what's actually happening. Another good way of making change real is to give case studies. What does it actually mean for individuals? What would happen to someone who is a top student at the minute who achieves 7 A stars and an A at GCSE? Maybe they get 4 9s, 3 8s and 2 7s, and you could sort of explain that would be the sort of result that maybe someone might get if they were of that ability. Similarly, Key Stage 2 junior school tests, what sort of level of reading would you expect someone to be doing in preparation for that test? That might be an easier way of helping parents understand situations. And the final sort of tip really is to make sure, I guess in all these situations, that everybody is aware of what your decisions are, that you don't end up with staff being asked questions, whether in tutor time or parents' evenings or open evenings, that they're not sure what the school is doing, or we know there's a change happening but we haven't made that decision yet. Make sure that staff are briefed, that they have a chance to ask questions, that they have a chance to find out really who are the experts, and that they can direct people. So if they don't know directly the answer or a technical question, they know where to pass someone on to. So that's it really in terms of this week's vodcast, this month's vodcast. I'll do them weekly. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll be back soon at Marketing Hours for Schools. If you'd like our free monthly newsletter, please visit the website and sign up.